My boyfriend demands I cut contact with his brother because his brother defended me.
What is this, some kind of sick game?
Trigger warning, physical altercation.
Oh God, it might be.
Boyfriend and I have been together for 2 years. I have known his brother, who I will call Reggie, for most of that time. We've always gotten on well enough. The whole situation started with my 21st birthday party. We had a party at home with 20 or so friends and family. Reggie was, of course, present at the party, along with a few other members of boyfriend's family. By the way, this comes from Punch Drunk Lady, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So the party was going reasonably well. As it started to get later, I started to get a little tipsy, and most of the guests had started to go home. It eventually got down to a wasted little group made up of myself, boyfriend, Reggie, and a couple of my girlfriends. We were sitting outside, and one of my girlfriends decided to get on the trampoline. She managed to execute a pretty cool flip.
Do a flip!
And I expressed that I wished I knew how to do one. My friend talked me into giving it a try. I got up on the tramp, stumbled wastedly, and fell down laughing. Everyone else except for boyfriend was laughing also. It didn't seem like much of an event until boyfriend got up, muttering, "Effing pathetic," in an angry tone, and then told me that we needed to speak in private. She's like, "You can't even do a flip."
That's literally my biggest ick.
I was pretty confused as to what was going on, so I asked him why. And he answered me with, "Just stop being a stupid cow for a second and come to the bedroom."
I read that in Irish in my head
What?
because of cow.
Okay. Both of my friends and Reggie looked pretty shocked at this. But before I followed boyfriend to the bedroom, I told him it was fine, and boyfriend was probably just messing around, right? He can have a real temper sometimes. Not good. Particularly after a few drinks, but I didn't think that would be the case in this instance, as literally nothing upsetting had happened. Cut to me and my boyfriend in the bedroom. He shuts the door and starts really going off. He tells me that I'm disgusting idiot, that I was showing off like some kind of pathetic wannabe by messing around on the trampoline. What?
I'm sorry.
What?
She's like drunk, and he's like, "Who do you think you are? You want everyone to think you're a gymnast or something? What are you, Olympian? You're trying to flip. You're pathetic." Meanwhile, he's cheating on her.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. That I was an embarrassment to him, and that I was to go to bed now. Oh, now he's your parent.
And now it's bedtime.
Not leave the room until morning so that I would be more of an idiot in front of company. As this is going on, he's getting louder and louder and is slamming things around the room.
Oh,
I went to leave as I was quite upset at this point, but he blocks the door. So I sit down on the bed.
This needs to be the last time
Break up.
that you spend time with this guy, and let that be known for everyone hearing this story.
Reggie is banging on the door and tells boyfriend to open it. Boyfriend goes out in the hall, and I can hear him and Reggie arguing. Next thing I know, Reggie comes into the room and says to go with him. I was sobbing like crazy at this point, but because I hate confrontation in general, I just nod and go with him. Reggie makes sure my other friends have left, and then we both get into a taxi. I don't know where boyfriend is gone, but he is still in the house somewhere. I'm crying a bunch in the car and don't say much, but Reggie calls his and boyfriend's mother and gives her a brief rundown of what happened. We got to Reggie's place. He lives with a couple, and they were really nice. The girl roommate lent me some stuff to sleep in, and Reggie told me to take his bed and he would sleep on the couch. I was kind of all over the place, but eventually got some sleep. Next morning, I got up and had coffee with Reggie and one of his roommates. Reggie asked if boyfriend had behaved that way before, and I let him know about boyfriend's temper, but explained that he had never blown up over something as insignificant as me mucking around on a trampoline. OP. There was never any reason for him to blow up in this way. There is no excuse for that.
Well, I mean,
To blow up in this way, there is no excuse for that.
Let me brainstorm. So you have a priceless family heirloom passed down for
That OP
hundreds of
breaks?
years, and he confuses it for toilet paper.
What?
Oh, I even said he, so I immediately swapped to this guy because I just can't see OP doing anything that bad.
Wrong, yeah.
But no, outside of the bounds of ridiculous situations, This is all never justified.
Never justified.
Never.
Nope. I asked Reggie if he thought maybe I did or said something that might have upset boyfriend and didn't realize due to being tipsy, but Reggie said no, and that boyfriend's behavior was unacceptable. Good on Reggie.
Unacceptable! I have a better hypothetical. He spits on her mom and then, like, pushes her into the pool. That's like I would sit him down and be like, no, you don't get to leave. You have to sit here and sit with what you did.
You mean her, if she did.
Or her, but I'm still doing him.
Oh, okay.
Because she would never do that.
Yeah. I felt silly and embarrassed, especially knowing that Reggie and my friends had heard everything boyfriend had said. And I told Reggie I had better get home and try to sort things out. No.
Oh, no.
I'd be like, girl, you can go anywhere because you're your own person. But you shouldn't go anywhere until we get into your head that you didn't do anything wrong.
Right. This isn't a thing you have to fix. This should be a thing he has to fix.
Yeah. Reggie said that he wanted me to stay at his place for just a bit longer to calm down and that he would really prefer that I didn't go home straight away as boyfriend could still be angry. I gave in and hung out there with Reggie and his roommates. We all just played video games and got some takeout, and I ended up feeling much better afterward, so I'm glad I stayed. Early evening, I told Reggie I should really go home. I didn't have any of my clothes, and more importantly, I needed my stuff for university the next day. He drove me over, but didn't really want me to go inside. I told him it would be fine, and promised I would call him if anything happened. He agreed, but said he would wait outside for a few minutes just in case. I got inside, and boyfriend wasn't home, so I told Reggie to go, and went about tidying up from the party. Also, the fact that OP was gone for, seems like about a day, and he didn't tidy up.
That's the biggest red flag.
Yeah, it is. Boyfriend eventually rocked up and seemed calm enough. Well, my thing is that if no one tidied up after a day had passed, I feel like he probably is never really doing any of the tidying up.
He might not have even been there. I bet you he was probably with whoever he's cheating on OP with.
That's also true. I told him I thought we needed to have a talk, and he agreed. We sat down on the couch, and I explained to him that I didn't think the way he spoke to me last night was right, and asked for an explanation. There is no explanation. His response was, I'll discuss that with you after you delete Reggie's phone number. You won't be speaking to him again. OP, if someone is ever telling you to cut a person out of your life,
that defends you from their aggression.
that is a sign. He's telling you to cut his own brother out of your life because his brother recognized that this guy is abusive. I was confused as all heck at this and asked what that had to do with the matter at hand. He told me that Reggie disrespected him by interfering in our relationship and that we were cutting ties with him. We're cutting ties with you, brother. He told me he wouldn't discuss anything else about the night before until I did that. And I told boyfriend I thought that was pretty unnecessary and that Reggie had been trying to help me because boyfriend was acting really threatening and that I would have probably done the same in Reggie's shoes. Well, boyfriend did not like that. He yelled, called me some names, and left the house. After a few hours, he sent me a text. I'm sorry for yelling, but you need to respect what I want if you want the same in return. This can't be one-sided. Delete Reggie's number, and we'll finish the conversation. Love you. No, you don't.
Hey, stupid.
No, you don't.
That's
not
called
love.
one-sided.
Get out of that relationship, OP, please.
It's called do what I do or we won't have the conversation.
I replied that I needed a little time to think, and I said I would be sleeping in the spare room when he got home and to please leave me some space for a while. I went to bed, heard boyfriend come in very late. He opened the door to the spare room and turned the light on, but as I woke up, he just walked out of the room and slammed the door.
He was probably mad his affair partner wasn't in there.
So this morning, I woke up, boyfriend is at work, and I have a text from Reggie. It says, hey, OP, I hope you're okay. Look, what boyfriend did the other night is really not all right, and I think you should get out of there for a while. I've talked to our friends, and it's totally, the roommates, and it's totally fine for you to crash here until you figure out what you want to do. So that leaves me where I am now. Don't know what to do about the situation. Do as boyfriend asks and cut contact with Reggie, or take Reggie's offer of some space away from boyfriend to clear my head. My worry is that I stay at Reggie's. That will destroy any chance of fixing things with boyfriend. Advice very much appreciated. I can't wait for all the comments
So
that we're about to get that say, leave Reggie.
You being unable to fix things with your boyfriend is not a problem.
Yeah.
That's a solution.
There is no fixing this.
There should be no
fixing.
desire to fix
Nope.
this.
Nope. Please leave.
And,
Get out of there.
if anyone ever listens to these stories, us included, and goes, why would anyone ever stay there? You have to look up the cycle of abuse.
Yep.
Because that is why this person is a victim of their own thought loops and their own, and they're being victimized by their partner.
Yep.
So, it's all very complicated.
Who probably has been isolating them from everyone who's ever said, hey, Reggie doesn't seem like a great guy.
Right. And people who are abusers,
Very
they have like
good
a
at it.
radar for people who will like not see through them or who will put up with their crap. They put feelers, whatever. They're insidious people. But it's not on her.
No.
Being so blind to be able to not be able to see that she needs to leave this situation. And I hope Reggie continues to hammer the point home with her.
And I hope that Reddit does too. But there is an edit. When I was able to come back and check on this post, I was amazed at the enormous amount of comments and messages I received. There's been a lot to catch up on, and I'm reading everything. Thank you to everyone who has given their advice. It has cemented the decision I've already made about getting out. Amazing news. But quite a bit has happened in the last day, so I will be doing an update for anyone who is curious. I will try to get it up in a few hours. Again, thank you to everyone who has commented or messaged me. I'm truly touched by all the helpful and caring responses I received. Update. After Reggie texted me, I replied to him asking if he had known my boyfriend to behave like this with other girls in the past. Over the course of many texts, it came out that he often yelled at and belittled his previous girlfriends in front of others, and some of his friends and family had suspicions about how far he was taking it. After the breakup, the girlfriend posted some stuff on Facebook about how boyfriend had hit her. I don't understand why any of the family wouldn't be immediately being like, hey, OP, just want you to know this is what happened.
Right. Like, I don't understand how people can just rock with folks that are known abusers.
Yeah.
Like,
how could Reggie even be, I would never be involved in someone's life. If I found out that they hit people and were abusive to their partners, I'd be like, bye.
Bye.
Never be having you around me. And did other things like spying on her and deleting people from her phone behind her back. Initially, when this happened, Reggie and his parents questioned boyfriend, and he insisted that the physical abuse accusations were not true and that his ex was saying those things to cover up the fact that she allegedly cheated on him.
which means that he's cheating.
Boyfriend admitted to yelling at her, but he told his family that she did the same and just as often. His family eventually accepted that, but Reggie and his parents were always wary of boyfriend's behavior. And Reggie in particular had made a point to keep an eye on things. Boyfriend's ex apparently had also called Reggie around 6 months after myself, and boyfriend had gotten together and asked him to help me if anything happened. I mean, if someone's ex is reaching out to you and saying like,
Please help this new girl.
Right. What are we doing?
At the time, Reggie was not quite ready to believe boyfriend would physically abuse anyone, but he told her all the same he would watch out for me or any other girl in the future. Reggie told me that after the way he saw boyfriend behave at my party, he became more convinced that boyfriend was likely to get physical, and that was why he chose to step in. He also told me that even if it didn't go that far, I should not put up with how boyfriend treated me. I agreed. What Reggie had told me and all the information and support I received here had me pretty convinced that I was not in a good situation. I decided to go and stay with Reggie and his roommates for a short time. I don't have too many other options for accommodation this urgently. My parents live too far away, and the few friends I could stay with are other girls with enough on their plate, and I didn't want to risk bringing this drama to their doorsteps. In retrospect, I'm glad I chose to go to Reggie's because I feel like what followed could have been even more frightening and dangerous if only myself and another girl had been present. I didn't have much time to get my stuff together before boyfriend was due to arrive home. So I packed a few bags of essentials and valuables along with my school things, and Reggie picked me up. I left a note at the house for boyfriend saying I was leaving and that I did not plan on returning other than to retrieve the rest of my things. I didn't tell him where I would be staying and that I would rather he didn't contact me directly, suggesting he communicate through his mother instead. I got to Reggie's and got settled in. While choosing to leave was difficult and I had a few bouts of crying, I also felt immensely relieved. Reggie and boyfriend's parents came around and brought some dinner. They were incredibly nice about everything and told me I had to do what was best for me. We always got along well, but I never expected them to be so kind and supportive given the situation. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. It was boyfriend. I did not want to answer it, and everyone else agreed that was probably a good idea. After my phone rang out, Reggie and boyfriend's mom phone began to ring too. Predictably enough, it was boyfriend calling. His dad answered the phone. The phone was not on speaker, but boyfriend was loud enough that you could hear him yelling down the phone. I couldn't tell exactly what was said, but his dad was telling him to calm down and not to do something. Boyfriend hung up on him, and Reggie and boyfriend's dad told us boyfriend was coming to Reggie's place, saying this was all Reggie's fault. Police, police, police. Call the police.
Ring, ring.
Ring, ring, police.
Police. I am a psychic. I can predict a crime is going to be committed at my address.
Reggie started to get a bunch of text messages from boyfriend, making threats and telling Reggie that he knew I was there and he was coming to get me.
Dude,
Police, police.
Sophia, that was a reference for you. That was a psych reference.
I liked it.
I could have heard those words to give me some sweet dopamine.
Sorry, I liked it.
Ah, yes. Thank you.
Reggie replied to him saying that if boyfriend came here and caused trouble, he would be calling the police, but boyfriend ignored him. Call the police. Call the police.
Yeah, no, straight up, like,
Call the police.
hey, abusive boyfriend that I'm leaving is coming to the place where I am. Call the police.
Already threatened.
Mm-hmm.
Boyfriend showed up at Reggie's probably 15 minutes later. He drove up the lawn and almost hit the letterbox and got out of his car and started yelling, police. Ring, ring, ring.
I'm sorry, this is a guy who needs to go to jail.
Yep. Reggie and his dad went out while I stayed in the front room with his mom. Boyfriend yelled for a while and was punting at random parts of the garden. Boyfriend started to yell towards the house that he knew I was there and to come out. I wasn't planning on coming out at all, and Reggie told him to leave. Boyfriend ended up running around the side of the house to the back patio entry. The screen door was locked, but the solid back door wasn't. And he started hitting the fly wire, trying to break it. Police!
Why is no one calling the police?
He kept yelling into the house that he knew I was there and that if I didn't come out, he would destroy all my stuff and log on to my school accounts and cause problems on there. Reggie and his dad caught up to boyfriend and started pulling him away from the door. Boyfriend started throwing the old 1-2s, and his mom and I both went out to the inside of the back door because we were worried someone would get hurt. Boyfriend saw me and started trying for the back door again. His mom said she was going to call the police.
Oh, do that!
If only someone had thought about doing that before he got there.
Boyfriend and Reggie's dad ended up hauling him out to the front yard and told him to leave. Boyfriend did eventually get into the car, spun his wheels, tore up the grass, and drove off.
So what the actual flippity doodah are his parents doing?
I have no idea.
Why are there no? This is
I have no
consequences needed territory.
No clue why no one is calling the police.
Like this guy would have been pinned on my front lawn. I don't care if I don't care that he's my son. He's pinned on the front lawn until the cops get there and arrest him.
Arrest. I feel pretty awful after all that. His mom and dad were both visibly really upset, and Reggie's rental property had been messed up. Police. I'd like to file a police report.
Police, my known abuser is coming to this house to try to get me. Maybe have the cops be here to arrest him.
Thank you.
But they were still so nice about everything, though. They really are wonderful people. I spoke to the police, thank God. And they said they would be speaking to boyfriend about what happened, and I got some advice about obtaining a VRO and making sure I could find a way of retrieving my stuff from the house, so that is all okay for the moment. The latest news is that boyfriend has been all over Facebook saying that Reggie and I have been having an affair and posting all these random cropped, blurry corn pictures from the internet saying it was us and that he caught us in the act. None of us are responding to any of it at this point. Haven't really decided what to do there.
That's a fun combo of different felonies that he's committing.
That's also a felony.
Yeah.
Also a felony. My plan is to stay with Reggie for now. It still is my best option. And Reggie has said he won't leave me alone at the house in case boyfriend comes back. Either he or his male roommate would be there. We also spoke to a couple of the neighbors that Reggie is friendly with, and they said they would keep an eye out for his car or call us if they saw anything dodgy. Why
is he not in jail?
Failure of the parents.
By the way, you can keep an eye out for full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But oh my goodness, there's a little bit left of the story. Immediately, call the police back up. Say, hey, I'd like to file a police report for property damage. look at all this damage.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Hello.
Hello.
He did it.
I'd like to file a police report. You threatened me. Here's proof in texts.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I bet you this guy doesn't sound like the most level-headed, thoughtful, emotionally regulated individual.
He would probably tell the police he
Yeah.
did this stuff.
So it's okay. This man needs consequences.
Consequences. But there is a little bit left to this story. I'm a bit at a loss as to what to do next.
Oh,
I just told you what to do.
I know what
next,
to do. You have to buy a net launcher. And next time old Stinky Pants comes sniffing around, you just get him with the net launcher.
That was a good sound
Thank
bite.
you. Thank you. Yeah, you just hit him with one of those,
I'm at a bit of a loss as to what to do next. I'm planning to talk to my uni about getting into student housing. I'm planning to go out tomorrow to buy some pepper spray also. I'm tossing up about reaching out to boyfriend's ex, but I'm not sure if that will cause more problems for everyone. So I suppose that's it for now, at least. I'm sorry that this was a bit of a novel, but I know a lot of people wanted an update, and considering how nice everyone has been, I wouldn't want anyone to worry that I had gone back/stayed with him. Rest assured that is totally out of the question. The more I think about things that happened within our relationship with this new perspective, the more I realized how effed up some of those things were.
Yes! You're getting out of the cycle.
Yay.
Yes.
Yay.
I love that. I just wanted to make sure I updated so no one was thinking I still stayed with this guy.
Yeah.
I just had to tell you. Yes, good. Good ending.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, so glad that,
So glad.
your boyfriend was so smelly, but Reggie, the brother.
Reggie for the win. We got another story.
My boyfriend bought a house with his brother. It's been less than an ideal living situation.
Move out.
That's the solution. I have been with my partner for about a year. Before our relationship, he purchased a big 4-unit home with his brother and brother's wife, so the three of them bought the home together with the long-term goal of eventually having 2 units to themselves, one for my boyfriend, the other for his brother and wife, and converting the remaining 2 units into a shared floor shared between them all. By the way, this comes from user ObjectiveOlive2510, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Do it.
What are you doing?
Do it.
Go submit your stories over there. So, it's a beautiful old historic Victorian home that needs a lot of work done to it. Their mother had passed a year ago, so the money they received from her will they used towards the home. I came into the picture shortly after this big decision and their mother's passing. I've been renting an apartment for the past 6 years by myself. I've always lived alone, and even when I lived with family, I was pretty isolated. Both my parents have passed, and I have a pretty traumatic upbringing full of abandonment from my parents and family, substance problems, and an overall emotionally neglectful family. I do not have good relationships with my family members, so that's the gist of me. My partner's goal was originally to purchase a home with his future partner. That has now changed since purchasing the home. It's now that he sees himself living in this home and having kids here. I obviously aligned more with his original goal of purchasing a home with my partner. 2 tenants have left from the house, so they both occupy 1 unit now, which happens to be the future shared floor. I'm here all the time now for the past month since he's moved in. They've knocked a wall open to gain easier access to each other, so I can walk over to his brother's side right through a door. Imagine a hotel with a shared door you can unlock that goes to an adjacent room. Additionally, his brother is a vet/dog breeder, so they have tons of dogs, like 8 on the brother's side, which is a noise issue for sure. The problem for me is figuring out how I fit in this whole vision they have already carved out. Currently, the units they took over are 1-bedroom units. Long term, when they're able to fully occupy the house, they'll each have 3-bedroom units, essentially the size of a normal house in each. There won't be a shared door once we move to the bigger units. I was thinking of moving in a couple months so I could save on my rent and pay down my debts faster, but it's such an unusual circumstance, at least to me anyway. So, am I clocking this right? So they have 3 or 4 units in like a shared building, like an apartment space? Like maybe they're like penthouse units or something. I assume, I don't know, from the sounds of it, it sounds like they're pretty large, like they're extensive. So it sounds like they've bought like a huge space in like a apartment complex that they're
be like
knocking down the
condos.
walls
I
to,
don't
or
know.
like
Oh,
condos
well,
or
yeah.
something. Sorry, I'm just. It's been. It was difficult for me to paint that picture in my head, so I'm just trying to get.
Clear.
Because at first I was thinking in the context of like houses, like units on like a property.
I don't.
But
I
it
don't think
really-
it's quite that.
Yeah, it feels like they're knocking down walls and like somehow they bought the whole penthouse of a building and they're knocking down walls in there. Because if you have 3 or 4 units with 3 bedrooms, or like 3 units with 3 bedrooms and then one with 1, it's like I'm having a hard time visualizing. If anyone in chat can help me out or
Slightly
has any
Toad
more
says
clarity
it sounds
than
like
me,
it's a duplex that they're turning into a single family house, possibly.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So much room for activities, says Kimberly Fine. I really value my privacy and independence. His brother and sister-in-law feel I close myself off, but the way I see it, there's literally a door they can walk through at any moment to see me. You can't get any closer than being on the same property like 10 feet away through a door. So our relationship is strained right now because I do not exactly get along with his brother. I find his brother to be intimidating and cold. The sister-in-law I get along better with, but I'm still not exactly the closest with them. My boyfriend touts that I get an instant family with them, and that they will help me with anything. And once we're moved in upstairs, I will get more privacy and can do whatever I want to the space to make it our own. To sum it up, the kind of deal I feel is in front of me is that I'd have to accept the circumstances of the house with him and his brother and sister-in-law, or I have no future with him. It feels like I cannot choose my partner alone in this. My boyfriend says I guilt him and make him feel like he has to choose between his brother and me. Which I feel like that's wrong. If anything, it feels like the brother is probably putting that energy out there.
Yeah.
Part of me is unsure if I'm being too closed off due to my upbringing. I don't know how to accept the situation without feeling like I'm a bystander with all this. We got into an argument yesterday because of a room that is currently empty and in the process of being fixed up. We had a differing opinion on windows. I tore off some window frames without consulting his brother, and that caused an issue. We had stripped the paint off of them, but poorly, so I was getting frustrated and tried to expedite the process. His brother has, for the first time, texted me directly in our group, looking to resolve our differences, and here's how I look at it. Here's the pros. I'm able to get help from his brother and sister-in-law at any given moment, especially if we had kids. I could see that being a huge plus. It reduces the debt and overall home ownership cost. It is a beautiful home, and owning a home in New York is a big deal. I knew it.
Oh, then maybe it's like someone's saying brownstone.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Brownstone.
Like a brownstone in New York? Like one of the old.
But they're saying units. It's multiple units, you know? You don't really have multiple units in a house like a brownstone. So I'm seeing where it's like a high rise. Like they have multiple units.
But how they would not be. If it was a high rise, they would not be able to like take down walls.
Oh yeah, if you buy the apartment, yeah, they bought it. So it's like they own those apartments now.
See, I was thinking like old house that was like made into a bunch of like separate places, and then they got the house.
Oh, I guess that's
what I was seeing.
That could be true.
Yeah.
But it's like multiple. It would be in a massive house because you've got at least 2 units that have 3 bedrooms. So how does that work? So that's a 6, 7, 8. That's a 10-bedroom house.
I mean,
a 10-bedroom brownstone.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out other possibilities.
I just like the penthouse.
Oh,
The penthouse
Kim says
vibes.
they said a Victorian house.
Oh, that's right.
Blast.
Oh,
They said a
dang
Victorian
it.
house, everyone.
Oh, shoot.
I feel silly.
It's a beautiful home, and owning a home in New York is a big deal. I wouldn't be able to buy a home on my own right now. I do woodworking projects, so getting to do a lot of DIY things will be nice once we have the 3-bedroom space. His brother being a vet is also a pro. And the cons. Unsure of boundaries and privacy at the moment. The dogs are loud, and currently, because of the shared door, there is a lot of noise, and it's not feeling like a single household. His brother will always be included in some way. I feel like a bystander. Well, I mean, you'd be a part of it. I don't get to own the home, and I do have to give up creative decisions on things such as the exterior of the home or the shared downstairs, since that will be his brother's decisions. I love my apartment. I made it my own, and I feel sad about leaving it. Anyone in a similar situation, can you chime in? Am I being selfish? Part of me thinks I am because of how independent I am. My boyfriend tells me to see the big picture of it all, but I struggle with it because I view things as wanting to only make decisions between him and I. And it's an awkward dynamic for me to accept that his brother is a huge part of the home. I always imagined my future relationship being its own entity, living with that person exclusively and having a family. I might be closed off to this dynamic as well because I am a deeply mistrusting person. I'm not sure how to process my thoughts on this, and there is an edit.
Yeah, when I move in or when I have a partner, I'm going to live in a compound with my brother.
Yeah, oh yeah, you've made it very clear Sam is the package deal.
Yeah. And Sam has to deal with that.
I think with advances in cloning, we can come up with some very creative solutions to that
I
problem.
don't want to clone.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We can do, why, if we're coming up
sure?
with cloning, why not just come up with teleportation?
Ooh, you know what? Yeah, hey, all you clone nerds, why don't we get off of clones and start working on teleporting?
Exactly.
Huh?
Way better.
Yeah, I'm trying to bully the cloning people into thinking that clones are so uncool that they have to do
They gotta
teleporting.
do teleportation.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
gotta
hey.
do it.
Anyway, I can't keep that bit
There's an
going.
edit.
Let's go to the edit. I spoke with my boyfriend about the situation and have decided to not move in until I'm ready.
Smart.
So I will be keeping my apartment. Also, I will not devote my spare time to doing housework there alone anymore, since it's too stressful and takes away from me doing things for myself.
Wait, you were
You were doing
doing housework for a place that she doesn't even live in?
What?
And also that they've given her no creative autonomy, you know?
I just
She's not allowed to head any of the creative decisions.
It's like unless you move into this house
Yeah.
right now with me and my brother and his wife, then clearly you don't want this relationship to continue.
Yeah, what?
It's such a weird logical jump. Like there's just a hole there that the logic is falling into.
Yep.
We will revisit the idea of me moving in sometime in the future, but we have no hard date on it. I've been reading all the replies and I really appreciate the different perspectives, and we have an update. Thoughts?
The same ones that
Ideas?
I've already said. Don't move in here. I think the problem here is that they want you to move in, but also they don't want to give you any say over anything.
Right. Which I guess
And also they want you to clean things.
to some extent it makes sense because I think it was like a family house
Yeah, but
or
I'm just
something,
not
and it's
understanding the
so
immediacy of having her move in.
right. That's the thing that it makes sense where they're like, well, this is like our family house, so it's like if you're not married into the family, it makes sense you wouldn't be on the title or deed
Yeah,
or
of
whatever.
course.
But also because you're not married to me and in our family, it also makes sense for me to not tell you it's something you have to do,
Yeah,
or the relationship's over.
exactly.
Yeah. So there's an update here. Let's hope it makes sense. This is a good update, actually.
This is a good. What is it?
This is good news.
This is good news.
Mark, I made a steak.
You made a steak?
Yes. I will not elaborate. This is a good update, actually. So it's been a little over 3 months since I posted. To quickly recap, my boyfriend had purchased a house with his brother and sister-in-law about a year ago, just a few months before I was in a relationship with him. So I had no say in the matter since I was not around.
Also, kind of crazy. Now that we're revisiting that information, kind of crazy that he's insisting that she move in when the relationship is seemingly only less than a year old.
Yeah.
He's saying
Yeah.
that she has to move in after less than a year of relationship or their relationship is over? What?
I think it's not an explicit ultimatum, but it's more like implied. That's what OP
yeah.
had been putting out
Icky.
there. A big 4-family Victorian that they wanted to convert into a 2-family with the majority of the space and house decisions going to his brother. Obviously, I wasn't okay with this arrangement for a multitude of reasons, but there wasn't much I could do besides voice my input. After reading through all of your responses on my original post, which I was super appreciative of, I decided to hold off on moving in with him. It was not a situation I wanted to move into immediately until I got a better feel of how things would go between him and his brother and the house. I also have a very nice apartment and do not want to give that up so fast. My boyfriend was definitely a bit bummed when I told him, but he understood. So I decided to wait things out and see if my boyfriend would naturally come to terms with the fact that long term, it wouldn't be a good decision for us as a couple. A few of you had said since his heart was invested in the house, there wasn't much persuasion I could have on him. I didn't push him on anything. I just let his brother's bad decisions and my boundaries do the talking. For example, if we were to move into the upstairs unit together, my boyfriend originally wanted to open up a door to the other side into the brother's unit. He said the brother wouldn't come through and that it would be private for us. I firmly disagreed and lamented on the current facts of how the situation is downstairs with the same kind of hotel door pathway to his side, where the dogs are barking and there's an invasion of privacy and it's not exactly our space. He eventually agreed to not open up the door and only have the front door, aka a normal house, not a hotel. His brother is also pretty rash, so he frequently will start up drama with him through text messages. Just last week, his brother decided to text him and basically said, I don't think the house is going to work out. I'm not going to be happy with the house, with how things are going now. You are at girlfriend's house all the time. She just wants her own private getaway. She doesn't seem to get along with the dogs, etc. To which my boyfriend said, yes, I think it would be healthier for me and girlfriend to get our own house. Therefore, there is no more talk of us moving into that house permanently. That's still, I think, not the right... What are we doing? Are we ready to move into a house?
No.
Are we ready for home ownership together?
No.
How?
Why are we ready for... Why are we even thinking about home ownership together?
Are we doing this just because we're like, well, I couldn't afford a home on my own? Yeah. Whoa. Not
Ming Ming says, OP, if you're uncomfortable with the idea, it's your instinct saying no.
Yes. And you still don't have to go buy a house with
Stop.
your boyfriend just
Stop.
because he doesn't want to live with his brother now.
Dude, it's been under a year.
Very, very weird. Very, very, very weird. So I was so relieved it came from his brother because I did not have to push him out of it. His brother did. Which, FYI, my boyfriend is only at my apartment 1 or 2 nights a week, max. I am super allergic to the dogs.
Oh, wait.
So yeah, I avoid them. So she's allergic.
That's huge information.
Allergic
She's
to
like,
the
she
dogs.
hates dogs. She's allergic.
Yeah.
She's allergic.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
What is it? Why are the dogs there? Does he's a dog breeder?
No, they just have dogs.
Oh no, he's a vet. It was because he's a vet / dog breeder.
Oh.
Yes. And yes, I want my house to be my private getaway. I don't know why he painted that in a negative tone. Yeah, he's like, she wants things.
She wants her own space. In New York? I don't think so.
Hey, bro, I don't know if you caught on to this, but she doesn't think like I do. So watch your back.
Yeah.
My boyfriend actually was relieved too. Now our talks have switched to us coming together as a couple and figuring out how to save up for a house in 2 years, which fixed my concern of thinking he only cared about the house in the first place. Although I gotta vent a bit, I am bummed that his brother essentially stole this time from him and money as well. He had money for a home before he put it all on this one. Now we have to wait for his brother to pay back his share. Also, he can't be considered on another mortgage until they refinance the house and remove him in 2 years. That sucks. I do make a good salary and have excellent credit, so I could potentially qualify for a mortgage on my own.
Stop.
We just need to wait, save, and pray that the New York housing market simmers down. It just sucks that his brother has really come in between him starting his own life. That's how it feels, at least. It feels one-sided, like his brother seemed to call all the shots, and now my boyfriend is paying for it. Like, literally and figuratively, he is paying for it. At this point, the issues are financial. His brother's a vet who makes more than double what my boyfriend makes, yet he doesn't pay most of the mortgage. My boyfriend has been floating most of the mortgage payments, paying for a new roof, blah, 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 blah. He can't pay off his credit cards because of the money tied to paying the roof. They are all essentially in a financial hard spot. Overall, though, this is excellent news. I'm just glad I won't have to move in there forever. My boyfriend would still like me to move into his apartment soon, though, for the meantime, to help us save up. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm still on the fence because I don't like the situation.
If you're on the fence, don't do it.
If you know what you want, get what you want, not what you don't. For the love of God.
Should be like super excited to move in, or don't do it.
We were going to do a month trial run of me staying over, see what issues I have, and fix them before I move in. Or I just say no entirely and don't move in. He's in a financial pinch right now, but I don't want to move in based on that alone, even though it would be temporary, but 2 years is quite a long time. I would rather pay the rent at my place for my own sanity. And by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this for your sanity. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio, really any podcast platform, and search OK Storytime.
Yeah.
And there you will find all of our words.
All of our words.
And you can listen to it till your heart sings.
My advice is, girl, don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that you don't feel ready for. You have been in this relationship, it seems, for less than a year. It is okay for you to be like, hey, maybe we're not ready to move in together.
Yeah.
And him going all these different directions to try and get you to move in with him, weird.
A little sketchy.
Little sketch.
Little sketchy. Yeah, and to boyfriend. Why are you letting your brother just like run over you, dude?
Yeah.
You know?
Stand up for yourself. It's your money too.
Come on. Have a voice.
Have a voice. Speak up.
Let's finish this story. Edit. I think there's some confusion based on some of the replies I've read. My boyfriend still lives in the house they bought together. He's not being removed. He will still live there until me and him were to find a place to call home. So he's staying there and I'm staying at my apartment until we make a decision on if I move in with him or vice versa, or if we just stay put where we are. There's no rushing that part. So the good about this update is we plan on buying our own home in the future together if all goes well. Him and the brother are trying to work through the issues, and that is the end of that story.
Folks. There we go.
I guess she's pretty serious about it if she's basically talking about like buying a house with this guy is a foregone conclusion.
But she seems like still hesitant. The only reason that I feel like she's bringing it up is because he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't do things because you're like
Yeah.
supposed to on paper or
Yeah.
because someone
Someone's
else is
saying, "Oh, it's a great idea." Like if your gut's saying, "I don't know if I'm ready for that."
yeah.
Trust your gut.
You can't just walk into a sketchy situation because someone is telling you to.
Indeed.
You gotta feel it in your heart, in your soul. But that is the end of that story. And are we doing another one?
We got one more.
Okay, we're doing one more.
My family treated my sister badly during my graduation. I'm planning to leave.
It's time to graduate.
Backstory. My sister, let's call her Rain,
And I almost misread that as reason.
is the oldest out of 3. Our mother has never liked her for various reasons. The main one being that Rain is the one who ruined her teenage years. My mom had her at 16 and very obviously resents her for this.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
that's the child's fault, not
Right, it's the
you.
kid's fault that her life got ruined, not her own fault.
Our family is mostly pro-life and anti-adoption, so giving Rain up or terminating her wasn't an option. Because of this, our mom has always been very cold to our sister. By the way, this comes from She Who Wanders, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Damn. Really quickly, can I just say, so your mom's always been a piece of shit? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I had to just say that. Sorry.
Rain is also different. She's Wicca, like myself, and mainly listens to really heavy metal and paints nude, how scandalous, women in her free time. Our mom tried everything to punish Rain and mold her into a normal woman. It didn't work, and it just caused Rain to have some pretty bad self-esteem issues. When Rain turned 18, she fled to go live with our dad and never looked back. Mom acted like she never existed, and sadly, she made our lives a whole lot better once Rain was out of the picture. Rain graduated last year, and my mom refused to show up or let us show up. She sent Rain a passive-aggressive card, and that was that. Rain was really upset from what I heard and was inconsolable for a few days. She told me she felt unloved and worthless. It was heartbreaking to hear her say those things, and I did my best to comfort her. She got better, but I can tell she hasn't really recovered from that. After that, she got a boyfriend and went no contact with our mom. She moved several states away to live with her boyfriend, best friend, and best friend's husband. She's a lot happier now, or at least was until yesterday. Fast forward to yesterday. Rain surprised us all when she came to my graduation. She drove all the way from northern Wisconsin to southern Texas, and it was an amazing surprise. I literally cried when I saw her, and it really made my big day so much better.
Aww.
Mom wasn't...
Let's just soak
That's
in how
sweet,
good
yeah.
that feels for a second.
You've got a good sibling.
That's good.
Mom wasn't happy to see her and started nitpicking on what Rain was wearing. Rain ignored her and gave me a hug before excusing herself to a seat. The ceremony itself came and went without fuss. Here's your diploma, get the F out kind of ordeal. Ha ha. Afterwards, my mom was throwing a huge celebration party for me and my friends. Her friends also attended. I invited Rain, and it took a lot of convincing to get her to go. I really wish I hadn't. Rain arrived a bit early and had issues parking her car. My stepdad was making fun of her big time. Her car is a standard, and she's still getting the hang of it. She can't parallel park to save her life. My stepdad said something really offensive, and I went inside. My friends really like Rain and were really excited to see her as well. The only people who weren't excited to see Rain was my mom, stepdad, and the family friends. They kept whispering about her like middle school girls whenever she wasn't around. It was embarrassing.
Why are they acting like it's like scandalous and
Yeah.
Rain decided to be born to spite her own mother?
It's like what is this attitude? When the party started, Rain brought several large pans of her amazing brownies and her graduation present for me. That's so lovely. I felt really bad because our mom's family had done F all for her graduation, and here she was going out of her way to bring me stuff and visit. I mean, just focus on the fact that you two have a great relationship.
Yeah.
She didn't seem to mind in the slightest. My mom got really wasted and flat out started being mean. She called Rain a horde of names and said Rain had gotten even more gross than when she had last seen the poor girl. I got pissed and told my mom to knock that crap off and proceeded to tell her that Rain was family and should be treated as such. My mom got pissed and she told me that Rain was an effing mistake.
You're an effing mistake, Mom. You suck.
Mom also told me that Rain would never be true family, just a nuisance and a burden.
So
And that's when I kick her out.
I'm like immediately in that moment disowning my family right there.
Yep. Sadly, Rain overheard this and I could tell it really hurt her. My mom's equally as wasted friend agreed, saying it was a shame because Rain is smart but a complete loser. I cannot believe that this is happening. This is beyond anything Mom's ever done. She has always been mean to Rain, but never like this. Needless to say, the day was ruined. When Rain brought out her brownies for me, my mom yelled at her to stop stealing the spotlight. Rain is an excellent baker. I loved the brownies, but my mom told Rain to throw it away or get it the F off the table before she did it herself. Rain was just gone. All I saw was an empty, depressed shell wandering around and trying to get tasks done like a robot. I seriously wondered if I was in some crappy soap opera or dreaming because this was just effed in so many ways possible. I don't know what the F my mom's problem is. She's a sad, angry,
She's a
person.
broken little wench of a lady.
Yeah, she's so unhappy with how her life is going that she has to take it out on everyone else.
Well, it's weird because it doesn't feel like she's taking it out on OP. It feels like it's all directed at Rain.
Yeah.
Which I don't get.
She's scapegoating Rain. Rain left the food hidden in my room and left her gift with it. Nobody noticed, thank God, so nobody sabotaged her efforts. She didn't say another word the entire time until my mom really pulled some effed up crap. No more?
Dude,
More?
so-
I would have left.
Well, isn't this your graduation like OP? This is for OP, right?
Yeah, I'm saying if I was Rain, I would have left.
No. If
Also, if
I
I was OP, I would have taken Rain and left.
If I'm OP, I stand up on the table and I stomp my feet and I cling my glass and I
go.
say, "Everyone's attention, please.
Yeah.
My mother is a creature from
Yes.
the Black Lagoon.
Yep.
And I no longer see her as my mother."
Yep, disowner right there. After a couple hours, food was ready and we were all super hungry. Rain got her food, sat down next to me, and ate in total silence. My sister is a bouncy, cheerful, chatty woman normally. This was ruining my day, so I tried to keep my mom away from her. When I went inside to do a couple things, I came back out to my mom yelling at Rain.
Tackle her.
She said horrible things to my sister and rubbed the fact that she would never have something like this in her entire life in her face. Rain was crying and I screamed at my mom to shut the F up. I told my mom she was a crappy mother and how dare she treat her own child like that. Mom yelled back at me saying Rain would never be her child and that she wished Rain would just F off already. Everyone got silent. Rain gave me a hug, told me she loved me, then grabbed her dog that she had to leave behind when she first moved out and left. I was furious. My friends and I left after telling Mom how horrible she was and tried to catch up with my sister. It was pointless, so we turned around and went back home. She was speeding big time and got too far away to reasonably follow. Rain has not spoken to any of us since. She hasn't been on Facebook, and her boyfriend said she made it home fine, but instantly went to bed and hasn't woken up since she got there. I don't know what to do. Our mom is pretending like nothing happened and fakes confusion when I angrily confront her about the BS she pulled yesterday. I'm so lost. Rain is a wonderful and amazing sister. She didn't do anything to deserve any of that. Between crying and being angry, I haven't been able to figure out what to do from here. What can I do to help Rain? I love her a lot and I really look up to her. She's an amazing person and it really effed me up to see her be treated like this by our own family. I know she needs my support, but I don't know how to help. And there is an update, but OP, you help her by being there for her.
Yeah.
By letting her know that you love her.
Yes.
And by telling your mom to F off and to never talk to you again.
Right.
Until she can freaking get her head out of her butt.
Just let Rain know how much you support her.
Yeah.
And how appalled you were by all these untrue things your mom was saying.
Yeah.
You know?
That's all you can do.
And probably encourage her to like talk to a counselor or a therapist about it because, you know, it's unfortunate. You know, my mom will probably hate that I say this, but it's like, you know, they don't mean to a lot of times. Most times I may even say, but a lot of our issues just stem from our upbringing and our parents and our childhoods. And it's like, you got to get them addressed, you know?
Indeed. But there is an update. So I finally got a hold of Rain after a surprisingly short amount of time. Apparently, this was normal behavior displayed by mom to her when we were growing up. My brother, a 15 male, and I never noticed it, but we understand now.
Okay, I understand it now.
Better late than never, I guess. I talked to Rain and offered my support. She appreciated it, and we had a really deep conversation. I found out a lot of really terrible crap that my mom had done to her, and it's pushing me closer to moving out. The only thing stopping me is fear of my mother and for my brother, honestly. I think that's understandable, though. By the way, I understand that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
If your brother, being a concern for your brother is definitely understandable. I would suggest, because he even said he's starting to see now, like, hey, that was really messed up.
Yeah.
There have been situations where I've had good friends stay at my house when I was, you know, that age, and your mom's just all talk. She's just a bag of hot air that if you stand right next to it, yeah, it can burn you, but it's just like, if you just get a little bit of distance, it's just like a breeze. What is she going to do? Tell you how much you suck? Like,
that's a great,
you know that you don't.
That's a great example. Thankfully, I learned that Rain is in therapy and getting help. She said it really helps, but mom's comments are still hurtful and offensive. That's why she cried. I told her not to worry because showing emotion is just part of being human.
Boom.
Rain is also planning on helping fund my move out when my friends and I can find a place. She and I both want me out of that toxic environment. What mom did and has done to Rain makes me literally nauseous. I may be overreacting, but it's bad to me.
Oh.
No, you're not overreacting.
It's nauseating.
You're not overreacting at all.
It was nauseating from like paragraph 1.
But folks, that is the end of that story.
Oof. And the end of this episode. And the end of the stream. Keon, please tell me you have an axolotl already. I know you have
Andrea
to leave
Mars,
very
thank
quick.
you for the $10. I just feel like it. You worked hard. That's very sweet.
Also,
Thank you.
thank you. That was very sweet.
That's so sweet.
Look at
I
this
really
little
appreciate that.
boy. He's in my hand.
And
right
thank you all
there.
for staying along with us. My
yes.
stomach is growling like
I'm gonna
no
go see
tomorrow.
an axolotl right now. That's all I can say.
But folks, that's the end of that story. The end of this episode.
And the end of this stream.
So, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.